Hello, finally. Can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Perfect. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. It's been a
That's
tough,
good.
you know, time. It's been a tough week or two, the last couple of weeks, with everything going on. But just trying to be productive and, kind of keep my mind off of it. It's actually been a solid week career-wise for me. So it just, I had a conversation with, my mom yesterday, just about it feels weird to be kind of celebrating my small wins right now, just when all this stuff going on. But I've been solid.
That's good. Well, I'm happy to hear that you're solid. I understand having difficulty at a time like this celebrating small wins, especially when there's like a lot of pivoting um, and stuff going on. So I hear that. I hope you keep a positive mindset throughout this.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hopefully, this workshop helps a little bit. But I just asked a question while we were waiting on Instagram to get it together. And I asked, I feel proud of myself when I blank. Do you want to answer that?
Hmm. Um. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll answer it, but let me think about that. I feel proud when I lay out, my goals and you know, and accomplish them. Uh, I like to do, like a 1 year list or just the things I need to accomplish. I normally do. Of course, I do it every day to do list, but like every New Year's, I try to put a list out of just things I want to accomplish for the year, maybe the next 5 years, etc. And that just scratching those goals off. I really, I really that's what makes me proud, I guess. And then also, just being able to share my knowledge. There's a lot of people who reach out to me about, being an agent and how to get certified. And so, I'm always willing to give free game to people. Um, and so, I'm proud of that. Just my effect on, kind of the younger generation.
Definitely something to be proud of, for sure. All right, well, I'm going to pick another one. These are kind of like icebreakers. We're just going to let people come in and get acquainted not only with you, but with me as well, and then we'll get started.
Okay.
Okay, this one's fun. If you had a theme song, what would it be?
Hmm. We can't cuss on here, right?
Try to keep it as PG as possible.
Yeah. If I had a theme song, um, well, what are my high school, pregame ritual? I used to always listen to "Down for My," N words by
Mm,
Snoop and all of them. So that's always been a song that I rocked with. Uh, a theme song, I would say J. Cole. I don't have a theme song, but I have a theme album or mixtape right now that I've rocked.
okay.
So J. Cole, the warm up. I kind of feel like I'm in, the situation, my life. I'm in the same type of situation that he was when he wrote that album, that
Mm,
mixtape, whatever. And kind of just all those songs, just I just rock with. Like, and then Can I Live? He gets really political, talking about cops killing us, all that type of stuff. And then Welcome, like that's kind of how I felt the first year or two in the agency game. Just Welcome. Uh, I don't know if you know that song, but um, yeah, I would say the warm up is probably like my theme right now.
so, well, I'm here for anything J. Cole, so I like the answer. I would love to hear like anybody else's theme songs. If you want to share, feel free to let us know what your theme song would be. I'd be too embarrassed to share mine, so I'm not gonna say
Are
it.
you not gonna tell yours? You gotta share.
Nope. Okay, one more and then we'll get started.
Okay.
What I love most about myself is blank.
Hmm.
And take your time, don't rush.
I would say what I love most about myself is, well, it's two things. I would say my I'm empathetic. I really, people might say, oh, because I'm a Cancer, I'm emotional, whatever. But I really can like get a sense of, how people are feeling. I know how to read people. I know how certain things are going to make them feel. So I think I can kind of really like feel for others, and I can, and I think that's honestly important as an agent to kind of be able to read the room, because you're going to be saying things a lot. It's an emotional game. It's an emotional industry. Players after they might have a bad game, you got to realize when to reach out, when to talk, what to say to them. So I would say that, and then I would also say I'm pretty confident, and I'm proud of my confidence. Um, just in general, I think in life, confidence is important. So I think I would say, not being, a lot of people call me cocky sometimes, but I would say it's confidence. And I think to be successful in any industry, you got to be confident in what you do.
100%. You should definitely never be apologetic about your confidence. So you're just believing in yourself. So I hear that. Okay, well, we only have an hour with you, like less than an hour. Actually, 10 minutes already went by. So I'm going to jump right into it. For those who may not know you, would you mind introducing yourself and just kind of give us an introduction about what you do?
Yeah, yeah. So my name is Isiah Turner. I'm out of Los Angeles. I went to USC undergrad. I'm currently at Loyola Law School, finished up my last year. I started working at BDA Sports. I used to intern with them before college started, and now I've been there for about 2 years now. BDA Sports is Stanford Bill Duffy and Associates. We're a big agency. I would say like our headquarters is basically the Bay LA area, but we're all over the U.S. We have guys like Luka Doncic, DeAndre Ayton, Zach LaVine. Name it, Rondo. We have about 50 guys in the NBA and about 100 guys overseas.
Nice. I didn't know any of those names, but they sounded really important. But could you explain why you chose to get into sports management or being an agent?
Yeah, yeah. So, growing up, I always played sports. Basketball was my favorite. I played throughout high school, had a couple injuries, and kind of lost my love for the game, I guess, as far as playing goes. But yeah, always wanted to be around the game. And so actually one of my high school teammates, I currently work for his dad now with him. Um, he's the reason I got introduced into it. So I didn't know really what an agent was. I really thought I was going to follow in my dad's footsteps and just be, in a commercial banker or investment banker, get into the banking game because I've always liked numbers. But yeah, kind of got introduced into that. He let me intern with him. It was a small little internship before I went to USC, and I just fell in love with it. I was able to watch basketball, stay around the game, and I like to negotiate. I like to I would say I like to argue a little bit, debate. And then I'm a big fan of numbers. I have a really good mind for numbers as well. So I would say that all those things kind of combined just let me know that this was like exactly what I should be doing. It's a way to I've kind of been. Uh, I feel like I'm an introvert for the most part, but you know this industry has allowed me to kind of spread my wings a little bit, um, and really try to help as many young men as I can, predominantly black men in the basketball world. But so that really, I would say those things. So I feel like I could be a mentor to a lot of my younger athletes, and kind of just relate to them. And I think yeah, this all that together is kind of what brought me into this.
Nice. Well, touching on the fact that you mentioned being an introvert,
Mm-hmm.
could you, I don't know, lend some advice for somebody who finds a lot of discomfort networking? Because that's that's a very big part of your position, of your role as an
Right.
agent. So, what advice would you give somebody, and maybe advice you've given yourself to better navigate a networking environment?
I mean, I would say networking is like any really. I would say it's a great tool, but I would say networking, you just have to work at it. You know, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So like, just put yourself out there. Go out to any events. If you ever have questions, if you're going to go to an event, or if you should do this, you should do it. And just be willing to go up to somebody and talk to them, because they're probably feeling the same. A lot of people don't, are nervous about talking to strangers and networking. So it's kind of just, it makes it easier, to talk when you're the one going up to them, and just, yeah, I would say that's probably the best advice. You just got to do it. It's just something that you learn, and you get better with as time goes on. My first networking event, I was terrible. I was nervous. Every time I shook, my hands were sweaty, so I had to make sure, before shaking somebody's hand, I had to, wipe it off. But I've gotten a lot better, and now, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable dealing with people. And also, I would say the last thing as far as networking goes, and I mean, it may sound like you're bragging, but don't be afraid to talk about what you're doing. A lot of people might find interest in that, and that's kind of how I've grown, is just being able to talk about the things I've accomplished. People respond to that well, and now when they see somebody, especially when you're talking to somebody older, maybe in like a mentorship role, they see the hustle and the your grind, and I would say that's with that grind, they might take a liking to you. And you never know, who you're gonna meet.
That's true. And when you like spark a conversation about what you're doing, sometimes it's in line with whatever they're doing or what they wish to do. So always brings up talking points. So
Exactly.
That's a good tip. Okay, so talking about networking, can you talk about how you utilize your network and how important it is to connect with people outside of the industry you're in? So, like, what are some other neighboring industries or roles or positions that you may connect with or step outside of your own industry, your own bubble, to expand your own?
Yeah, I mean, I would say just being in law school has kind of allowed me to do that. I mean, USC, I have a good network of people from USC as well. So my undergrad experience, I've connected with a lot of people who are just doing their things in their respective industries, whether that be real estate, maybe the music game. I would say those kind of align with us. And then, just always being open. Like, I've had conversations with a lot of people as far as at my law school, they're doing something completely different, but you never know if I need their help, or if they know somebody that's, that may be a basketball player that, and they'll think of me first. I actually just had a conversation last week with one of my classmates. He's he kind of just started a amateur esports league. And I don't know if or if you're familiar with, esports, but the video game world is booming.
Yeah, I don't live under a rock, but yeah.
So that's booming right now. And I think, athletes tend to play video games. Those kind of go hand in hand. And, we've talked about, me helping him out with that, and showing my, I guess, expertise and experience with the agency game. And, we're representing players, and kind of how that can translate over to, esports and things of that nature. But yeah, I mean, being in this legal world, I mean, being in law school it's shown me so many different ways, and I really just learned there's so many different ways to make money out here, and that's kind of, so I never limit myself to just staying within the sports world. I don't want to just be a sports agent. I want to damn near take over the world. So I'm trying to get into everything. I can see myself getting into music. I feel like I have a good ear, especially for hip hop. I see myself getting more into the esports. Like I said, I want to do it all. I don't want to just limit myself. I've always considered myself like a Renaissance man type, and I think, it's no reason to just limit myself just to sports.
Yeah, for sure. I hear that. I feel like nowadays, when people are doing a lot or they have their hands in different pots, people are usually trying to pigeonhole people. And so I definitely hear expanding and just doing it all. We can, right? Who says we can't?
Exactly.
Um, could you talk a little bit about rejection? Because I feel like, you know, I can't be the only one who feels this way. I know a lot of people on this live probably have gone through it, but when you hear one no, it can kind of set you back 10 steps. And you yourself work in an industry where you're probably going to hear more no's than you hear yeses. So, how do you keep that same enthusiasm when you've heard more no's than you have yeses?
That's a good question. I would say just kind of knowing that it's not really your fault. I mean, it's a lot of factors that can lead to you receiving a no or receiving a rejection, especially in this industry. You never know what kind of relationships they have, with other people, with other agents. You just never know what maybe the other agent did something that I wasn't willing to do as far as, trying to get the player. So just trying to make sure that, I stay positive, because if you think about it, if I get 9 no's and I get 1 yes, then that yes is huge for me. And you only need a few yeses in this industry to really make it. And the yeses just feel so much better. Whenever when you finally do get it, because you know how hard it is. It really is tough to be in this game and get a player to really connect with you and really trust you enough to really put their career in your hands. And so just being able to, I think so. I mean, a little bit of my background. I worked in sales with the Clippers, so I sold Clipper tickets right before I started law school, and so that was where I really got my initial taste of rejection. I got people hanging up on me, telling me, "Oh, I'm a Laker fan. I don't want the Clippers suck. Stop calling me." People just cussing me out on the phone, and we just kept picking up. We had to make 100 calls in a day, and so that's kind of really where I got I would say my tougher skin, and just not being afraid to pick up the phone. You never know how somebody's gonna respond to you. So if you're scared of rejection, you're never gonna get a yes, because you're never gonna put yourself out there in order to get that. And so just making sure that and I think that goes back to my confidence. You just got to be confident in yourself. You know that you're built for this. If that person didn't mess with you, oh well. We move on to the next one. The next person will. And that's kind of how I look at it.
It's a really good way to look at it. Is there anything that you do specifically, like anything that really helps you stay on that positive mindset and not have you take those extra 10 steps back? Like an
Yeah, it's tough.
exercise that you do or something?
It's tough for sure. I've had a couple days where I was just, I just you get a tough no where you put in a lot of work behind it. You can give yourself a little time. You maybe have a drink or something, something like that.
We
But
don't
also,
advise that, but I'm just kidding.
that's my personal experience. But also I do like to meditate. I do certain things, just to take my mind off of it. I don't get a lot of time because as an agent, you got to be open and, available pretty much 24/7. So that's like a time I like to take to myself, and just really just, think positive thoughts. I, focus on my breathing. And then every time I meditate, I have a way better day the next day, and just, yeah, it gets me going. I need to start meditating every day, every morning, but that's kind of the main thing I would say I do. Sometimes just going for a good run, getting a good workout in, is another way to, just kind of take your mind off of things, take some stress out. You might be, you might be hot, so it's a good way to take some of your aggression and your passion out on the weights or whatever. So that's a good way. And then I love music. So music is kind of a way I like to escape. So I would say, yeah, just listen to, some of my favorite artists, taking my mind off of it. I would say those are the best things. besides, you know, alcohol, stuff like that.
That's funny. Yeah, meditation is amazing, and I hear that on hear what you said about it really helping and transitioning in the next day. I don't know. I feel like there's something about clearing your mind and clearing a slate so that tomorrow you can think on a more positive, clearer note. So, some great advice outside of the drink. I'm kidding. Okay, so being an agent is a lot of work. Like I think people underestimate how much work you put in on a daily basis. The term "no days off" can really be applied to that position. So how are you able to keep a work-life balance and not just get consumed into work?
Honestly, that's still something I need to work on, especially with school. Because so you know, I'm typically in the office from about 8 to 4, and then I have class either 6 to 8 or 6 to 10 Monday through Thursday. So it's really not a lot of time for me to do that. But you know, I guess one way you know I do is you know I my mom she gets on me, but she calls me and you know we talk a lot on the phone. We probably talk maybe a few times a week, or you know just going out with my family and linking with them is the way I escape. Um, and just also just you know linking with my friends every once in a while. It's tough though. It's tough because I've gotten calls at midnight before from a player, you know, and it's just you got to be ready and willing to do the work, you know. It's just you got to be available. So I don't know if I have the best advice for that as an agent. I don't know. I still have to figure that out, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really tough, especially when you're first starting off and you want to do it all and you set a whole bunch of goals. You're like, maybe I shouldn't rest. Maybe I shouldn't find that balance. So I hear that. It's tough to
Yeah,
make that
I mean,
decision.
I feel like at this age, you know, I can focus on my career a little bit more. You know, I don't have a kid or you know family or anything like that. So you know, I feel like this is the time for me to dive into my career. So as of right now, you know, I'm trying to, you know, I don't really, I mean, to me, work is life right now. And I think, you know, maybe as I grow as an agent, you know, I think that maybe that change as I, you know, have a family and all that type of stuff.